Hey guys, tonight we're diving into the misty world of Victorian England's most notorious gang, the Peaky Blinders. Now picture this. It's late at night. You're curled up in your favorite blanket that may or may not have seen better days, and there's a sleepy dog sprawled across your feet, dreaming of chasing squirrels. You probably won't survive this, at least not without dozing off once or twice. But that's perfectly okay, because who doesn't love a good snooze while visiting the past, right? Before you get too comfy, feel free to tap like or subscribe, but only if you're genuinely enjoying the calm around here. After all, build a cozy community feels like, well, slipping on your fuzziest socks on a cold night. Tell me where you're listening from and what time it is over there. I love seeing how far this sleepy little journey reaches. Now, go ahead and lower the lights. Maybe let a fan hum in the background, and let's drift gently into tonight's story together. You wake up in Birmingham, England, but not the Birmingham you know today. Instead, your feet are on cobblestone streets, your breath mingling with the fog that seems to wrap the city in a never-ending hug. It's early in the morning, and the city is slowly stirring to life. Vendors are already setting up their stalls, the smell of fresh bread wafting through the air, mixing with the unmistakable scent of coal and industry. As you shake off the remnants of sleep, you realize you're in the heart of Small Heath, a neighborhood synonymous with the infamous Peaky Blinders. You might laugh at the thought, but really, aren't you just like them when you hit snooze on all 5 alarms before actually waking up? Honestly, getting up today in Victorian England feels like a different kind of challenge. These notorious types, the Peaky Blinders, are already awake and busy. It's rumored that they get their name from the razor blades sewn into the peaks of their flat caps. But historians still argue whether that's just a tall tale or a style choice that got out of hand. Regardless, they've got this tough, edgy look about them, enough to make you think of a modern-day biker gang, minus the motorcycles, and with a penchant for waistcoats and flat caps instead. Now, here's a fun fact. The Industrial Revolution had Birmingham running like a well-oiled machine, but it was that same economic boom that churned out both prosperity and poverty in equal measure. This juxtaposition created the perfect environment for gangs like the Peaky Blinders to emerge. We're talking a population boom that could rival your Instagram feed's sudden rise in followers after you finally posted that cute puppy reel. As you wander through Small Heath, the sense of a close-knit community hits you hard. Or rather, the scent of coal smoke. The neighborhood is a place where everyone knows everyone, which has its perks and its downsides, especially if you're keen on keeping a low profile while dabbling in some of the less savory business activities the Blinders partake in. Imagine trying to hide secrets in this environment. It's as futile as watching just one episode of that show when the whole season just dropped online. Within this society, appearances are everything. As you glance around, you notice the sharp, tailored suits of the Blinders contrasting with the worn clothes of factory workers heading to another long day of labor. These suits are like signposts, marking the Blinders as part of something bigger, whispering power and danger without saying anything at all. You can't help but chuckle at the idea of such killer fashion choices being made daily. After all, it's not like they had TikTok to showcase their styling skills or Pinterest boards for inspiration. The morning sun finally fights its way through the fog, casting light on the Victorian scene unfolding before you. There's a group huddled around a newspaper stand, catching up on the local gossip and the world's happenings in a way that feels nostalgic compared to today's constant stream of notifications. Shouts from children playing in the street blend with the rhythmic clanking of horseshoes on cobblestones. It's this delicate balance of chaos and calm, reminiscent of the hum of a busy city night that defines everyday life here. You walk through this tapestry of sensory experiences, noting each detail, each sound, each smell. It's like you're living history one step at a time. And somehow, just somehow, even the gritty world of the Peaky Blinders offers a kind of warmth, not unlike that of a late-night coffee shared with an old friend. Now that you're fully immersed in the waking world of the Peaky Blinders, let's wander a bit deeper. The streets of Birmingham hum with life. The clatter of hooves, merchants hawking their goods, and that ever-present swirl of coal dust that never quite settles. You've got to admire the resilience here, the way people wear the grime of the city like a second skin, almost with pride. It's not so different from how you'd wear your favorite old hoodie with holes in it just because it's been through so much with you. You notice a figure leaning against a wall, brim of the cap pulling shadows across a face that looks like it's seen both sides of trouble more than once. You're drawn to the attitude, the swag of someone who's mastered the art of looking tough without trying too hard. Here's the thing about Peaky Blinders. They knew how to make an entrance. Their clothing wasn't just fashion, it was a statement, one that read loud and clear in the tangible tension of alleyways and street corners. Some historians speculate that their sense of style was as much about intimidation as it was practicality. A trench coat that could easily conceal tools of the trade, or shoes that could take off at a moment's notice. There's still debate about whether the infamous razor-stashed caps were as prevalent as tales suggest, or if that's just one of those stories that got a little zhuzhed up over the years. But honestly, you kind of want to believe it because it sounds just so cinematic. And haven't we all spun a tale or two to make life seem more adventurous? As you drift through Small Heath, the local chatter picks up, and snippets of conversation swirl around you. Plans being made, deals discussed, gossip spread like wildfire. It's almost like a Victorian version of your group chats, except without the emojis and existential memes about life's absurdities. There's a kind of authenticity to it. Voices mingling in the air, laughter punctuating the slow rhythm of the city's early movements. You turn a corner and find yourself faced with rows of dark, narrow alleyways. These slender passages are the veins of the neighborhood, coursing life and secrets through the underbelly of Birmingham. Occasionally, you catch sight of someone darting into an alley, which then seems to swallow them whole. It's an escape route and a shortcut all in one. A perfect metaphor for those moments when you press send on a risky text and immediately wish you could disappear into thin air. One alley, in particular, banks sharply around the back of a row of houses, where the light dims to a soft whisper. It's easy to imagine a chase here. The thud of footsteps, the ragged breaths of pursuers and pursued. And at the top, maybe a Peaky Blinder making a daring escape over the rooftops, silhouetted against the hazy sky. You laugh at the thought. Could you imagine trying to pull that off today? Maybe there'd be a viral challenge about it. Despite the risks, there's something exhilarating about the network of alleyways. It's a place where rules bend and chance encounters carry weight. Anything could happen, and probably has. You wander further, feeling the history under your feet, and start to hear whispers of stories centuries old. There's one about a daring heist, another about a narrow escape, plus plenty of tall tales that have grown in the shadows with time. It's said that some of the best and worst schemes were concocted right here. The air seems to hum with possibilities, the kind of energy that fuels all-nighters and mad scribbles in notebooks when creativity strikes at 3 in the morning. As the sun climbs higher, the fog slowly dissipates, unveiling a city that's both harsh and beautiful in its own rough way. This is a place where dreams and desperation dance closely, much like notes as they mingle in the wee hours when you're trying to finish just one more episode before sleep claims you. So you stand there in the soft glow of morning light, wrapped in the stories of those who walked these paths long before you. It's a moment to pause, breathe in, and imagine. What tales do these walls remember that historians still argue about? Yet you might, in this quiet, intimate moment, understand just a little bit more. And so, the day rolls forward, and you find yourself slipping further into the rhythm of life as a real Peaky Blinder. It's a rhythm that's a bit jagged, syncopated by the demands of both underground dealings and the daily grind that keeps everyone else afloat. By now, everyone in Small Heath is up and about, filling the streets like water rushing through a stream, and you're just another drop in this bustling river. You wander towards a hub of activity, a local pub serving as the unofficial headquarters for the Blinders. This dimly lit space is a haven from the world outside, a place where plans are hatched over mugs of ale and whispered conversations linger in the smoky air. It's a bit like your favorite cafe with Wi-Fi, where you somehow manage to scroll through endless email chains disguised as work while soaking in the cozy atmosphere. Inside, there's a buzz as various characters flit from table to table like moths to a particularly enticing flame. You spot a gentleman leaning back in his chair, his brimmed hat tilted just so, exuding that nonchalant authority that's half charisma, half calculated persona. Here's the wild part. Historians have noted that the power dynamics within the Peaky Blinders involved a fascinating blend of clout, street smarts, and a fashion-forward wardrobe that could rival any runway of the time. You find yourself next to a group gathered around a makeshift gambling table. The game of choice isn't poker, or even blackjack, but a peculiar betting game that looks like a cross between dice rolling and shell games, with rules as obscure as a modern-day DMV form. Victorian gambling introduced a variety of such games, capturing the on-edge spirit of the era. People would wager on everything from pigeon races to mundane occurrences, like when it might rain, a pastime that's honestly not much different from betting on the various plot twists in your favorite TV drama. As you observe, you can't help but chuckle at the mix of determination and reckless abandon in their faces. Those moments of quickened pulses, exchanging winnings with the furtive glances of conspirators. You realize that in these fleeting seconds, you probably understand something those gripped by the same excitement did. Whether it's rolling a pair of dice or waiting for that text back, living on the edge feels oddly the same across generations. It's also in places like these that decisions for the gang are made. There's talk of territories, whispers of smuggling, and even the occasional debate of local politics sneaking in. Yet, amidst the grandiose plots, you can spot the quirky details that often fly under the historical radar. Did you know that some pubs of the time were reinforced with iron bars, just in case a quick getaway was necessary? makes you reconsider how you view emergency exits, doesn't it? But what truly intrigues you is the sight of every face in the room turned towards the charismatic ringleader who speaks with authority. It's easy to get carried away listening to him, much the way you'd let a series of YouTube videos autoplay while you lose track of time. Even more fascinating is the debate among historians over just how organized the Blinders really were. Were they a sophisticated syndicate akin to modern-day corporations? Or were they more informal, held together by familial bonds and the force of personality? Somewhere in the middle of the day, after a swirl of dialogues and plans that could fill countless notebooks, if only paper were more abundant and loose lips less common, you find a moment to step outside the bar. The air is bright, tinged with fresh promise, and the smell of impending rain that hangs heavy, as if the clouds themselves have wagers on whether this will be a drizzle or a deluge. In this city of smoke and stories, you start to understand that being a Peaky Blinder means juggling the roles of enforcer, entrepreneur, and everyman. It's tiring, exhilarating, and complicated all at once, like some unwritten novel lived out loud before anyone had the chance to edit it. As you walk back to the familiar sounds of the bustling streets, it's clear that in this world, there's no certainty except the one that you've carved out of the cobblestones yourself. The Peaky Blinders may have been a product of their era, but the echoes of their story are as persistent as the hum of life that fills the city day by day, night by night. And into the afternoon you go, with Birmingham pulsing around you like a heart full of stories. The streets now glisten from a light rain that settled only moments ago, leaving behind a fresh, earthy scent. You find yourself tracing the paths of countless blinders who've walked these very stones, pondering the curious blend of pride and irony in calling this corner of the world home. Feeling peckish, you duck into a bakery nestled snugly between a tobacconist's and a tailor's shop. The door creaks in a sound so familiar it could be your very own phone, alerting you to one more email. Inside, the warmth and the scent of freshly baked goods envelop you like a plush blanket. As you snag a warm roll from the counter, you reflect on yet another fact. Many of those who found their way into the Blinders' ranks were regular citizens, workers, bakers, tradesmen, who blended criminal undertakings with everyday jobs. You can't help but smile at the thought. Isn't it so you to juggle responsibilities, sneaking in that cat video at work and claiming it's research? While you savor your snack, your mind drifts to the network of people that made up the Peaky Blinders. Whisper networks, they were called, channels of information passed from person to person, like quiet ripples in a pool. Without the aid of texts or social media DMs, these networks kept everyone informed, or at least as informed as one could be when facts danced with rumors in an elaborate courtship. It's a mystery how word moved so quickly across distances, a feat as impressive as figuring out the latest dance trend that's blown up overnight without missing a beat. Back on the street, you join the crowd venturing towards the markets. Here, the energy's different, brisk and vibrant, with vendors touting their wares. Times might have changed, and sure, the digital age has brought us online marketplaces, but the thrill of bargaining, the exchange of goods, the cacophony of deal-making feels keenly the same. With each step, it's like I'm being pulled into some bygone bazaar that's copped all the best bits of history to relive in this moment. The market is alive with the calls of traders, each displaying a little slice of life. You find a cart brimming with the oddest contraptions, some manual and rudimentary, but clearly cherished. If you're inclined to tinker, you might appreciate the ingenuity of these inventions. Always something odd and intriguing, possibly showing the Victorian era's subtle nod to what now seems quintessentially DIY. It's here you stumble upon a group of men huddled, deep in discussion over the peculiar economics of their day. They're not just a band of ruffians, but guys with their own brand of business smarts. The Peaky Blinders crafted their wealth through a complex network of legitimate and illegitimate dealings, switching hats from underworld gamblers to entrepreneurs unafraid of hustling to get ahead. It's a bit like trying to keep up with the stock market while also managing a backyard lemonade stand. Everything counts, and nothing is too small. As you join in for a listen, one of the men jokes about the wager he's made on a horse, and you can almost imagine him checking his bets the way we watch our notifications with bated breath. There's a camaraderie here that transcends the century, a sense of shared goals and ambitions threaded through their personal lives, much like our own group chats brimming with life updates and memes. The afternoon sun casts sharp shadows that stretch and mingle with the laughter and playful banter echoing through the alleys. You look around and notice a smirk playing on the lips of a fellow next to you, as if caught in some private mirth that the rest of the world doesn't quite fathom. You wonder what secrets these streets hold, and if they'd spill tales to a willing ear, given the chance. Time in this world unfurls elegantly slow, like the tail end of a favorite song. You feel the past brushing against your skin with all its intensity, hope, hustle, and struggles. Steps guided by history, finding connection in each smile, every sideways glance. You walk on, a little more aware, a little more part of this narrative that, for now, is also your own. As the afternoon mellows into evening, you slip through the streets of Birmingham, where shadows lengthen, crafting imaginative shapes on the cobblestone that might just be friendly ghosts waving hello. The air is rich with the scent of coal fires and roasting meats, both comforting and a bit overwhelming, like an old friend who's a little too loud at the dinner table, but you love them anyway. The city feels alive, a patchwork quilt of voices and sounds, each contributing its own note to the symphony of the night. You wander into one of the neighborhood's hidden clubs, where the latest tunes are played on battered pianos and locals gather to swap stories, dance, or just lose themselves in the moment. There's a magic to these dim, crowded rooms where each shadow holds a secret and every smile carries tales. It's something akin to disappearing into an old-fashioned speakeasy, where time stands still and everything feels possible. Inside, the warm glow from gas lamps casts a cozy light across faces full of stories untold, like gently flickering candles in the windows of our modern world. People from all walks of life crowd the space, seamlessly mixing strangers with friends in a way that feels oddly familiar and endlessly welcoming. Here, rank and title play second fiddle to the universal language of camaraderie, a unity that transcends age, class, and even the occasional squabble. As you make your way through the room, you catch snatches of whispers that slip between the notes of the band playing. Talk of planned heists, territorial disputes, and surprisingly mundane topics like the weather or the latest gossip flow like a curious undercurrent. It's a reminder that beneath the veneer of notoriety, the Peaky Blinders also led remarkably ordinary lives, making them as relatable as that text you left on read, but never answered back. Historians have often debated about where exactly the Blinders' influence ended and fictive exaggeration began. Were these clubs really hotbeds of criminal genius, or simply places where the everyman's voice shared space with the seduced rhythm of forbidden jazz? It's a puzzle that remains delightful precisely because of its missing pieces, like a phrase left hanging that lets your mind imagine the possibilities. Finding an empty spot at the bar, you lean back and let the room become a painting of life around you. Colors and sounds blending, flowing seamlessly from one moment to the next. The clinking of glasses is like the soundtrack to a quiet revelation. The intricate network of human connections weaving stories through each sip and sigh. The night deepens, and you feel the soft pull of the hours, a gentle lull that imagines sleep as a warm embrace. You can't help but think about how not much has changed. People still seek these spots of solitude and solace amidst the chaos, carving out pockets of joy in an unpredictable world. It makes you wonder what they'd think of your favorite Friday night hangout, probably arguing whether it's all too reminiscent or radically different. Eventually, the music softens, and the voices settle into an easy murmur. But beneath it all, there's a persistent buzz, that secret hum of life that never quite fades. It's the same buzz you feel as you settle into a favorite playlist or that book you've read for the 100th time, but still find delightful. You leave the club, stepping back into the cool evening air that carries with it echoes of laughter and footsteps. The cobblestones beneath your feet seem to hum with stories, threads of which have wound their way into you tonight. These paths, though tread by many before and many to come, have whispered secrets to you alone, and it's with that sense of serene mystery that you drift along with the night, tucked warmly within this sleepy, historical dream. As the city settles further into the embrace of night, the streets grow quieter, almost as if they're taking a collective breath. It's that perfect in-between time when everything seems to pause, waiting for the next big adventure, or perhaps just relishing the calm before the inevitable bustle of the morning returns. This moment is so much like scrolling through your phone in the dark, where every notification is a whisper of the world outside, yet you're cocooned in tranquility. You wander down another stretch of Birmingham's winding alleys and narrow lanes, where every shadow seems a companion. The buildings loom with a kind of comforting familiarity, walls cradling the secrets shared over decades. It's the kind of place where stories either grow taller or quietly nestle in like old bookmarks forgotten in a favorite novel. Eventually, you find yourself at a corner where the cobblestones betray the path to a cozy nook, a gathering spot for those who know and those who wish to. Here, the Peaky Blinders congregate for a not-so-secret rendezvous. It's as if each step toward this place has draped you in an invisibility cloak, where you can witness the strategic gatherings unfold without disturbing the natural order. You smile at this. Perhaps now, you truly understand the allure of ghost mode on social media. Inside, the atmosphere is thick with anticipation. Conversations bubble over mugs of ale, topics dancing between talk of recent scores and speculative plans for tomorrow, accompanied by the grounding presence of familiar faces. It's a place where trust is both currency and commodity, more precious than any coin passed under the clinking table surfaces. History hints that these gatherings were where alliances were forged and sometimes broken, where the unseen mechanics of street justice ticked away like gears unseen in a pocket watch. If you were to ask a historian, they'd likely tell you there's still debate over just how much these clandestine meetings influenced the larger narrative of Victorian Birmingham. Were they truly as impactful as the lore suggests? Or is this yet another instance where romanticized tales have eclipsed the ordinary? In your observational perch, you notice a particularly animated group gesturing toward a map spread across the table, tracing routes and sketching boundaries with an intensity that reminds you of a childhood game of Risk, yet with stakes that go far beyond toy soldiers and imaginary borders. The expressions etched into faces reveal a profound calculus, decisions weighed as carefully as debate in a school math club, though perhaps with consequences that extend into shadowy streets, far removed from any classroom. By and by, you start to recognize faces among the throng. Folks who wear their history, like that one sweater that fits just right, snug around the edges, but shaped perfectly by familiarity. They share smiles and secrets, their expressions as varied as their experiences. Yet amidst this calculated hubbub, there's a thread of light humor, the kind that keeps heavy hearts buoyant. Jokes are shared, laughter bubbling over in a way that's timeless and genuine. It's a camaraderie that needs no apologies for inside jokes or laughter that lingers in the air a moment longer than deemed proper. Suddenly, a lull in the conversation lets you hear the soft ticking of a clock, an unassuming sound weaving through the night that's its own kind of melody. The room's energy is palpable, a soft vibrancy that tickles at your senses like the thrill of a good plot twist. You take a moment to appreciate the complexity, the layered lives that unravel quietly in these tiny but impactful meetings. It's then you realize how, despite their notorious reputation, the people gathered around you are much like anyone weaving through life's tapestry, striving, surviving, and occasionally tripping into moments of brilliance. This feeling resonates, filling your bones with warmth despite the chill of the late hour. As the evening wears on, conversations eventually taper off, and the room empties gradually as people slip back into the night, off into dreams or street corners, warmed by companionship and plans both grandiose and simple. And in this fading hour, when time itself seems to hover delicately on the brink of today and tomorrow, you take these collected moments as your own. They're tucked away, like dreams in a sleepy whisper, folded gently into the stories we tell ourselves about history and hopes alike. Your steps lead you homeward, a soft serenade into sleep, holding you close as the night's curtain draws gently shut. The night in Birmingham spills over into a silence that feels almost reverent. There's something sacred about the streets at this hour, with only the distant sound of a horse's hoof striking a lonely rhythm against the cobblestones. Everything is enveloped in a soft hush, the kind you find in libraries or early morning walks, when the world is just reawakening. You pause, letting the night wrap around you as you contemplate the stories these paths hold, whispered on the wind. You find yourself meandering towards the edge of one of Birmingham's smoky districts, where the buildings huddle together, their silhouettes dark against the milky glow of the moon. It's in these quiet moments, with the chill picking at your skin, that you can really sense the past brushing against the present, as tangible as the frayed scarf around your neck. You're caught in this delicate time, halfway between a waking reverie and something you might dream on a long winter's night. Eventually, your wandering feet lead you to a narrow lane lined with gas lamps that flicker like sleepy sentinels. These were the humble precursors to our modern streetlights, casting a warm if inconsistent glow that softens hard edges and blurs details with its tender light. It's an era before the relentless brightness of neon, one where shadows embrace the night rather than recoil from it. Down this lane, your attention is drawn to the faint strains of music drifting through partially open shutters. The melody is a soft, haunting tune twined with gentle piano notes that somehow fit perfectly with the damp air and the whisper of history skating by on a light breeze. In this moment, you can see how these after-hours gatherings provided solace and familiarity, weaving people together in the soft lull of shared experiences, much like your favorite late-night conversation over tea that never quite cools. As you stand there, absorbing the quiet rhythm of the streets and the soothing lull of distant music, a lone figure emerges from the shadows, a constable in his dark blue uniform, tipping his helmet to you in that old worldly manner. He appears as much a part of the street scenery as the cobbles themselves, a steady presence reminding people of order even amidst the chaos that could swirl through Birmingham on any given day. Despite their best efforts, historians still argue whether Victorian law enforcement had any real, long-lasting impact on the gangs like the Peaky Blinders. Were they a force to be reckoned with? Or were they as much a part of the game as the card players cheekily maneuvering their way to victory? It's an open question that floats into the night sky like the flicker of gas lamp flames. Maybe it's one of those situations where we color history with the brushstrokes of our imagination, crafting tales that stretch well beyond the edges of the canvas. In this enigmatic dance between light and shadow, law and outlaw, you sense the intricate ballet that was the life of a Peaky Blinder. It was a game with a wide cast of characters, some larger than life, each contributing to the tapestry with actions small and monumental. It's a reminder that life in this historical context was as richly complex as our own. Proof that beneath the bold headlines and whispered legends, there were real people navigating their stories. Eventually, the hour grows heavy with sleep, coaxing you to wind your way home. You carry with you the echoes of today's journey, a collection of sights and sounds that feel almost like old friends now. As you take each step towards the comfort of your sleep-bound self, you realize the threads of history have wrapped around your day, leaving feathers of memory behind. The streets, the shadows, the gas lamps, the very essence of Birmingham fold themselves away as you pull the soft veil of sleep over your eyes. It's like closing a well-read book to rest upon the nightstand. The quiet hum of lived stories lingering long after the turning of the page. Here, under the blanket of stars bottled in a nighttime sky, the tales of the Peaky Blinders find a resting place within you, to be dreamed about and perhaps revisited another day in another lovely nighttime tale. The night deepens, and the familiar quiet of Birmingham enfolds you like the softest, most worn-in quilt. You find yourself easing into those tranquil hours where the world seems to hold its breath, embracing that gentle hum that's akin to the quiet buzz of your laptop fan at 3 a.m. It's a time for reflection, for letting your thoughts drift with the ease of a leaf floating downstream. As you wander into your thoughts, you're reminded of the peculiar lives that weave through the saga of the Peaky Blinders. The love lives of these figures, romanticized, scrutinized, and often misunderstood, pepper their stories with both poignancy and myth. Within the haze of these narratives, reality often blurs with fiction, much like your imagination when reading about the Victorian courtship rituals that seem, honestly, even more convoluted than interpreting modern dating apps. Beneath the hardened exteriors and notorious reputations were some of these blinders' hearts lined with yearning, seeking connections amidst the chaos. Historians still delve into diaries and letters, trying to unravel these personal tales from between the tough pages of history. Did the echo of a piano through an open window call out to them, a thread of sentimentality weaving through their lives, prompting feelings just as complex as any plot twist you find in a novel today? It's one of those sweet mysteries you let gently settle in the back of your mind, more a playful riddle than a pressing question. Within your cozy reverie, you consider the notion of family, the bonds forged in blood, both by ties of kin and those born of camaraderie. For the Blinders, the concept of family extended beyond mere ancestry and grew into a network that resembled a patchwork quilt, covering them in a protective camaraderie. It's easy to see parallels with our modern circles of friends and chosen family, and you find a comforting sense of connection threading its way through time. With each step, you become more attuned to the whispers of the past, the tales these streets long to share with those who listen closely. History suggests that these close-knit familial bonds started for practical reasons, but as with any close relationship, they evolved into something far more profound. This same feeling animates the marketplaces and quiet corners where allies convened, strategizing about future moves or simply enjoying the brief peace found within familiar company. Eventually, as the night's serenity cradles you deeper into its embrace, you absorb the ambient echoes of this historical exploration. The streets are silent now, but they hum with the energy of stories mindful of centuries, much like a beloved playlist that always hits the right note no matter the mood. The gentle tap of raindrops on window panes becomes the backdrop, a soothing lullaby that nudges your wandering mind to rest. As the final chapter of the night unfolds, you imagine the Peaky Blinders retreating to their own sanctuaries, peeling back the layers of their day to fill the vibrant tapestry of their world. Every tale carries with it a lesson, a reminder of what it meant to love, manage chaos, and find identity amidst a world both wildly agile and grounded. Slowly, you wind down your thoughts like a gentle rolling hill that naturally finds its way to rest at the bottom, easing into the calm of stillness. There's no rush here, only the gentle caress of time moving patiently forward. The soft rhythms of the night continue to flow over you, wrapping you in an unhurried calm, ensuring dreams steeped in history take you by the hand and lead you safely into slumber's tender embrace. The city settles, your thoughts settle, and soon, all is quiet, save for the whisper of the past that rests with you, gently perched in the nook of your sleep-laden thoughts. And so, in the tender, hushed folds of night, you allow yourself to drift fully into repose, comforted by the echoing lullabies of Birmingham's storied past. The soft pull of slumber weaves around you like the gentle embrace of the night itself, stretching out into a dreamy path lined with stories old and familiar. Your mind drifts, reflecting on how the Peaky Blinders carved their tales into the tapestry of history, leaving imprints for us to stumble upon long after they're gone. It's a curious reminder that even in this digital age, where each day is a swirling blur of emails and notifications, we still seek out these whispers from the past, hoping to understand a world so like and unlike our own. In your cozy cocoon of reflections, you think back to those secretive alleyways, the clandestine meetings, and the rich blend of characters that colored the world of the Blinders. There's a kind of endearing chaos to it all, not unlike the dance we perform with our daily to-do lists and social commitments. Even in their outlaw lives, there existed a rhythm, a melody of loyalty, family, and the ever-present shadow of ambition. There's something wondrous about the resilience of these historical narratives, how they morph and sway in the winds of time. They're like that favorite blanket or a cup of tea on a rainy day, ever-present comforts that ground us even when the world feels a little too unpredictable. And while historians might still debate countless details, whether those cap blades were more myth than reality, or if their influence stretched as far as folklore suggests, here, in this quiet moment between waking and dreaming, the truth matters far less than the stories we hold dear. The Peaky Blinders legacy is a fantastical mosaic of daring escapades and the complexities of life woven through crimson threads of reality. It's a saga more glittering than fairy lights strung across a room. Those eclectic drops of history that twinkle invitingly wherever your mind may wander. As you snuggle deeper into this late-night warmth, the hum of history turns into a soft song, as familiar and nurturing as a lullaby sung in the gentle whisper of a loved one. Every corner of this tale wraps snugly around you, tucking away the last vestiges of clamor and the frayed edges of modern distractions. Eventually, even the street sounds fade to a distant murmur as you drift, swayed gently by the rhythm of breathing in tandem with the night. Each breath feels like a connection to those long-gone souls whose steps you followed. Each exhale a release of all that's heavy into the soothing dark. With a final, tender exhale, something as soft as a prayer slips into the corners of your heart. It lingers, a gentle weight on your thoughts, a reminder that stories, whether whispered in the corridors of time or painted in vivid detail across the fabric of our memories, live on because they touch our dreams and hold space within our hearts. You slip seamlessly into sleep's sweet sanctuary, your thoughts untethered, cradled by the tendrils of night that quiet worlds, both ancient and present. In this cherished stillness, you find peace, warmed by a glow that exists only in the soft focus of dreams, touching history and gently holding your hand as they guide you towards morning's gentle promise. The slowly fading night settles into a profound stillness, and you find yourself marveling at how the stories of old have entwined themselves with the whisper of the wind, gently swaying with the rhythm of the city sleeping within its own history. You cozy up to this feeling of interconnectedness, where the past and present blend seamlessly into a gentle stream, carrying you quietly to the shores of dawn. In the haze of the final quiet hours, as you drift on the edge of sleep, a deeper understanding wraps around you about life in a bygone era versus now. The Peaky Blinders, with all their bravado and grit, were simply navigating their own intersection of chaos and calm, much like we do in the labyrinth of modern daily hustle. As you muse on it, a chuckle emerges unbidden, considering the countless parallels to today's quest for balance. Somehow, the mysteries left unsolved, the stories half told, add layers to this nuanced historical tapestry, making it all the richer to explore. Amidst the murmur of the past, you find comfort in the questions as much as the answers, knowing they add texture to this tale, as soft and comforting as the whispered secrets shared in the twinkling twilight. Night has woven its own hush over the cobbled streets where the feet of history have tread. Here, under the sprawling arcs of of star-flecked sky, stories have unfurled, lingered, and nestled in the very bones of the city. Kindred spirits, whispering lullabies to night's gentle attending. You sense that soft song in the background, like the drone of a nearby fan, soothing in its constancy, promising dreams of adventures yet untold, of quiet moments still to come, as the final threads of wakefulness gently surrender to sleep's embrace. You feel each corner of your being filled with a calming warmth, the glow of stories, both heard and dreamed, weaving their soothing spell. It's a comforting reminder of how history touches us quietly, sneaking into our thoughts, to linger and lull us with its timeless beauty. In these last drifting thoughts, wrapped in a quietude that holds you softly, like a favorite melody hummed under your breath, your rest feels complete. You'll wake with dawn's tender touch, carrying these echoes not just as fleeting memories, but as entwined with your being. The story of the Peaky Blinders may lie in the annals of time, chronicled and mythologized in ways beyond our full comprehension, yet their essence remains vivid. Resting now, nestled into the velvety night, you embrace this richness as part of your layered dreamscape, anticipating another day where fiction and history dance playfully in the quiet comforts of your imagination. And so, you drift into the deepest embrace of sleep, cradled by history's soothing whispers, mind resting peacefully amidst the gentle keening night. In the silence that follows, an ineffable peace fills the air, whispering that in the heart of every night lies the promise of a morning waiting gently just for you. As the tender hold of night gradually loosens its grip, a silvery pre-dawn light begins to stretch her fingers across the rooftops of Birmingham. The city, snug in its slumber, begins to stir ever so slightly, like a sleepy child stretching under the covers. What was once a world wrapped in shadow now slowly paints itself with the soft promise of morning. It's an elegant dance of light and shadow, reminiscent of a theater warmly lit just before a play begins. You find yourself nestled in the serenity of the moment, the whisper of dreams softly lingering like a melody that sticks with you long after the song has ended. The history of the Peaky Blinders, with all its bold tales and whispered secrets, rests gently in your thoughts, like the familiar scent of laundry clinging to your hoodie. It's the kind of sensation where nostalgia wraps you in its embrace, allowing you to savor the stories once more. Each remembered tale swirls with its own vibrant hues, the daring deeds conducted under the cloak of night, the friendships and rivalries woven through whispered words, the rich complexity of life standing resolute against the backdrop of grimy cobbled streets. You realize that these stories have become more than passing narratives. Instead, they are enduring echoes of human experience, filled with dreams, dilemmas, and a very relatable quest for meaning. You wonder, isn't that what lies at the heart of every story? Whether told under Victorian gas lamps or digitally streamed today, it is the universal heartbeat that connects us. It's the quiet comedy of our shared lives, filled with moments of triumph, failure, tenderness, and ambition, all anchored in the search for something greater than ourselves. As your thoughts gently unfurl, the city's tapestry reveals itself in a magnificent panorama. Old chimneys sighing smoke into the waking sky, their silhouettes stories still untold. The city awakens around you, and with it, the hallowed whispers of time mature into the energetic hum of a new day commencing. The warmth of a light breeze carries with it the sounds of life, a symphony of movement As shopkeepers begin their morning routines, a cart rumbles by, a distant bark pierces the air, and somewhere close, the rhythmic clang of a blacksmith's hammer intertwines with the symphony of sounds. While the world steadies herself for the day's new chapter, you carry forward the softness of the night, the stories that kindled your imagination, and the peaceful inner glow that lingers like a candle graciously aglow even after the wick is spent. This dreamy reflection on the lives of the Peaky Blinders and the Victorian streets they tread becomes a cherished nook in your heart, replete with those tender, unanswered questions of past lives and the gentle warmth of an adventure shared. Beyond the history stands the broader human tale. The resilience of people balancing hope and hardship, like we do, with grace in one hand and a bit of laughter in the other, with dawn offering the baton to a freshly painted morning. The city unfurls her streets, ready for stories anew. You carry with you the night's whispers, personal chronicles etched into the embrace of time itself, knowing you've danced with history, moonlight to moonlight. And as the rays of the rising sun beam gently upon your skin, you feel a renewing energy borrowed from the past, softly nudging you toward your own adventures, anchored by the timeless comfort of stories shared once upon a Birmingham night. As the morning dawns, ushering in the glow of a new beginning, the city of Birmingham comes to life in a symphony of sights and sounds, each note a promise, each flicker a nod to the language of renewal. Like a slow-moving tide, the hustle and bustle of the waking world gently tugs you into the rhythm of a fresh day. The streets now unfurl like a well-read map, their outlines delicate yet precise, carved by the footsteps of so many who've walked them before. Gazing upon the familiar cobblestones, you can't help but reflect on the layered stories that shape them, like the intricate motifs of a kaleidoscope. Every corner is a chapter, each alleyway a footnote in the grand narrative of this remarkable city. Your mind wanders back to the Peaky Blinders, those notorious trailblazers whose legacy you've intimately explored. You can almost see them there, caps tilted and eyes sharp, navigating a path through the challenges of their time. Their lives were more than legend. They were a mosaic of ambition and resilience, of family ties woven into the fabric of Birmingham's dynamic tapestry. Much like us today, with our notifications dinging incessantly, they lived in a world that required adaptation, survival skills honed by necessity, though perhaps with a bit more daring flair. Historians might still argue over the true extent of their territory or the drama echoed in their dealings. But in the soft light of a morning not yet fully awake, the truth feels almost secondary to the wonder of their mythos. As you walk through Birmingham's present, the echoes of the past accompany your steps, comforting as a song whose lyrics you know by heart. There's a joyous familiarity in remembering that throughout history, people have navigated the complexity of human experience with creativity, grit, and even humor. And so, with the sun's tender rays casting golden patterns upon the city, you weave your own narrative, one where today's adventures blend seamlessly with yesterday's reflections. These timeless stories, like ancient stars, guide us, lighting the way with a warm glow that outshines the passing fancy of daily stress. The day stretches before you, full of promise and the quiet thrill of the unexpected. As you step forward, carrying with you the whispered tales of the Peaky Blinders, you are buoyed by the understanding that history is never truly behind us. It continues to walk alongside, whispering reminders of connection and resilience. In the seamless dance between night and day, between dream and waking, you find a rhythm uniquely your own. And much like those who've come before, each step plants its own story, resonating with the textures of cobblestones beneath your feet. A conversation between past and present, a testament to the enduring beauty of stories told and retold. The day is yours to shape anew, much like those who shaped the history of the city you traversed in dreams. An open book in the heart of Birmingham, inviting you to write the pages of your own legacy. As you take that breath, that step into today's unfolding chapter, you hold within the comforting blend of yesterday's tales and tomorrow's dreams, setting forth with the gentle strength drawn from those timeless trails. As the morning sun climbs higher into the sky, the city of Birmingham awakens fully, its streets alive with the pulse of a new day. The market stalls are bustling, workers make their way to factories, and the clattering of horse-drawn carts creates a familiar symphony of productivity. It's a vibrant, lively scene, a clear reminder of the enduring spirit of the place, where stories of the past merge with the motion of the present. You continue your wanderings, the echoes of the Peaky Blinders and their world still whispering softly in your thoughts. These stories you've explored in the quiet of the night now mingle with the buzz of daylight, each tale a thread in the rich tapestry of history. You see their shadows in the alleyways, hear their echoes in the laughter bouncing off brick walls, feel their presence in the determined strides of those who pass by, heading to forge their own destinies. There's something inherently comforting about this connection to the past, this acknowledgement that the struggles and triumphs of those who came before you are part of a shared human experience. Much like trying to navigate through your own modern-day challenges, from managing the barrage of daily tasks to finding moments of peace amidst the noise, it's all about finding the delicate balance. As you observe the city around you, you marvel at the resilience of its people, both then and now. The tenacity to push forward, adapt, and thrive despite obstacles. It's a trait that spans time, much like the timeless comfort of a favorite story or song that wraps around you just when you need it most. The cobblestones underfoot feel familiar, like stepping stones guiding you through the annals of time. You appreciate the small details, the intricate ironwork of a gate, the kaleidoscope of colors painted across market stalls, the raucous calls of street vendors mingling with the softer, more intimate conversations that weave through the air. In each moment, there lies the essence of lives lived richly, histories penned with both bold strokes and delicate lines. You pause near a fountain, watching the water dance under the sunlight, reflecting a prism of possibilities. It's a beautiful reminder that life, much like the endless flow of water, is in constant motion. Whether on the streets of Victorian Birmingham or in today's dynamic world, the narrative continues, informed by, yet not held hostage to, the past. In this moment, standing at the crossroads of history and present, you draw a deep breath, content with the knowledge that you're part of something much larger, a continuum that stretches backward and forward, blending dreams and memories, hopes and realities. And as the day invites you further into its unfolding, you carry with you the legacy of those storied nights spent with the Peaky Blinders. Their tales, like all good stories, seep into the seams of today, offering perspective and a sense of belonging no matter where the journey leads. With your heart full of gentle reflections, You step forward into the day, a companion to the echoes of the past and the endless potential of the future. It's a quiet kind of magic, knowing the stories will always be there, waiting to comfort, enlighten, and inspire as you continue to weave your own, with the city fully awake and the day unfurling like a freshly laundered sheet hanging in the sun. You find yourself moving fluidly through the bustling streets, feeling the heartbeat of Birmingham clearer than ever. The world brims with endless potential. Each corner turned offering new surprises or cherished routines. It feels a bit like wandering through an endless playlist. Each moment, a new track, bringing with it flavors of nostalgia or invigorating beats. As you walk, your mind keeps circling back to the layers of history embedded within these streets. There's a beauty in how the stories of the past add texture to the present, a comfort in knowing that each step you take today is part of a greater journey, strewn with shared struggles and triumphs. You imagine the Blinders in their time, their tough exteriors masking the same kinds of hopes and fears, desires and dreams that we all carry. The market is bustling, vibrant colors and animated voices weaving a rich tapestry of life. You drift through the stalls, feeling the energy in the air. It's as though the city itself is speaking, urging you to stay curious, to keep exploring. Here, the aromas of spices blend with the earthy scent of fresh produce, a sensory experience that's almost intoxicating. You can't help but smile, realizing that despite the passage of time, some things remain delightfully unchanged. Lost in thought, you ponder the delicate dance between progress and preservation. Historians might differ on details, argue interpretations, but what prevails is the human spirit etched into the very fabric of these streets. Even as shops open and kids skip along the sidewalks, the city holds onto its stories, like dog-eared pages of a beloved book, ready to reveal its tales to those who wish to listen. As you weave through the crowd, your heart swells with a sense of connection to the layers of stories, myths, and realities that converge here. There's an intimacy to it, like the friendly chat of an old acquaintance met unexpectedly, a reminder of how intertwined our lives are with the past and future. You pause at a corner where the cityscape stretches wide, buildings old and new, standing shoulder to shoulder, blending architectural styles just as the narratives of generations intertwine. There's a warmth in knowing that no matter how times change, the shared human experience endures, painting us all with the same brushstrokes of hope and resilience. The sun climbs higher, chasing away the shadows, its light casting a gentle glow over everything it touches. With this illumination comes clarity, a newfound appreciation for the dance between history and modern life. Much like a beautifully choreographed duet where both partners shine, reflecting on your quiet journey through time, you gently absorb the complexity and beauty of a world continually in flux. Every breath, every step through this vibrant canvas is imbued with meaning, coloring your path forward with lessons learned and stories shared. As you move toward your own adventures today, you carry with you a piece of history, nestled comfortably alongside the aspirations of tomorrow. It's with this interwoven understanding that you one day find your place in the narrative, one enriched by the shared stories that bind all of us across time and place. And as you wander back into your own world, the echoes of the Peaky Blinders, like faint melodies from an orchestra long finished, linger softly within you, In this quieter place of memory and possibility, you find solace, carrying forward the beauty of the stories shared, ready to page forward into whatever tomorrow's tale might bring. The vibrant pulse of Birmingham continues to weave its way through your senses, a tapestry rendered in sounds and scents, bustling life and quiet moments. As you navigate through the maze of the city's streets, it's clear that the promise of today is built upon the foundations of yesterday. There is a graceful continuity in the world around you, like an intricately stitched quilt where each patch tells its own story. You meander through the industrial heart of the city, where buildings bear the marks of time, the smudged fingerprints of history on every brick and beam. The factories hum gently, churning with the vitality of innovation and labor, much like the constant connectivity and pace of the modern world that demands attention. And yet, even here, where change is a constant breath in the air, the echoes of the past cling lovingly to the walls. Reflecting on the stories of the Peaky Blinders and the world they inhabited, you see more clearly how these narratives become shared legacies. They inform the present, coloring it with hues of resilience, plots of courage, character arcs of ambition and cunning. It's like a complex recipe where each ingredient, no matter how small, is essential to the flavor of the whole. The river that runs through Birmingham gleams in the sunlight, a ribbon of silver against the urban landscape. As you pause on a bridge to watch its gentle flow, you can't help but think of the currents of time that connect past to present, carrying stories along with them. A perpetual journey, much like the digital currents, ferrying bytes of information ceaselessly around the globe. Standing here, contemplating the seamless blend of old and new, you recognize the symbiotic dance of history and modernity. It's a delicate balance where tradition enriches innovation and change breathes life into the past. The tales of the Peaky Blinders, woven deeply into the culture and folklore of this place, are a testament to this dynamic interplay. The sky overhead is a canvas brushed with the gentle strokes of clouds and sunlight. As the day progresses, you take with you a deeper understanding of those who walked these streets before you, their stories, struggles, and successes creating the backdrop for your own journey. There's a comfort in the continuity, a gentle reminder that while the details may differ, the essence of human experience remains constant. You venture onwards, each step resonating with the harmony of shared lives and narratives. It's a journey ripe with opportunities to contribute your own story to the timeless tapestry, to create connections that transcend time, celebrating the intricate dance of history and personal experience. As a cool breeze dances through the city, carrying with it the familiar scent of rain yet to fall, you find a profound peace in the knowledge that these stories, the Peaky Blinders and beyond, will continue. They provide a presence, a shadowy reflection in which to find solace, inspiration, or simply a companion on the road. In the rhythm of your footsteps, a melody forms, blending the notes of the past with the aspirations of the future. You realize you're part of this ever-unfolding narrative, adding your voice to the chorus of history. And in that realization, you find a sense of belonging, a deep-seated understanding that in the realm of shared stories, none of us is ever truly alone. With that warmth nestled in your heart, you allow the day to embrace you fully, reveling in the beauty of interconnected histories as you step forward into the textured canvas of your own becoming. The stories will always be there, waiting to be uncovered, cherished, and shared anew.